I'm looking at the chat. I love the support. I love everything. I love that you guys are in the chat right now. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but we're here.
We're not a romance show.
Yeah,
We are-
we're not a romance show. Unless you want romance.
I mean, I was gonna say, if you want,
maybe?
Guys, I want to go to Japan and I want to confess my love to Luca. How do I do it?
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
comment
figure-
below.
There it is.
But you guys,
Hashtag
welcome.
Johnny for Luca.
Welcome to
Henshin Hangout. Henshin Hangout.
Oh
Henshin
man,
Hangout.
it's back. It's fun to be back. It's fun to be back.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk about Patranger versus Lupinranger today.
Oh.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
No, I sound weird red. No, I sound weird red. Oh.
I love it. You got-
I'm excited. You're excited.
Johnny, we talked to Justin early on, but how was your week going, man?
Yeah.
It's been kind of dope. Like, as you guys know, teaching's like in full play and everything like that.
I know.
And so, it's been going good because I tried out something new this year because I always teach Lord of the Flies. But honestly, my students like kind of hate the book because of the way it's written. So I was trying to think about
I
like,
like
well,
the book.
it is. Some people like it, but like a lot of my students hate it though. So I was trying to think like, well, what's something that I could teach them they would be interested in?
Hunger
It talks
Games.
about how power and corruption.
Uh-huh.
And so I got permission from my admin, and so this week I started teaching Death Note.
Nice.
See, I wish I was like a kid in high school so I could be in your class.
Dude.
What the hell?
Dude, like we read the first manga today. We read the first chapter. We were all talking about it. I taught them the term Shingami and manga and anime, all this stuff. And kids were like, I want to know what happens next. I was like, I know you do. So it's been a blast.
So if you guys are in high school and you're in the LA area, like try to transfer to his school. So you can do this class.
Hey, it's good times. It's good times.
Oh man, if I was reading manga in
Yeah, I
high
know.
school, I was
I would
like,
have got A's all the time.
what the heck? I was
That's great.
too
man.
old. I'm in the wrong generation.
You guys, like I said earlier, thank you for spending your time with us on a Saturday. You honestly could be doing literally anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
No,
There's
but you're
so many
here.
things going on. My friend went to Vegas for Life is Perfect. There's so many things that you guys could be doing, and you're here with us talking about Super Sentai and Kamen Rider and everything Henshin. Actually,
Yep.
I
And we
was-
appreciate that.
yeah,
Yes.
I was at Nerdbot, and a guy came up and he bought one of our shirts that you can buy at T Public, where we have all the
There they are. There's the
designs that we
linkies.
got from Power MorphCon there, and there's like sales like every 2 weeks. Sometimes every week. So you guys check it out. You can put these designs on anything. A phone case. You can put them on a laptop. You can put them on a baby onesie.
Yep. Doggy onesie.
Doggy onesies.
Prints.
I saw baby onesie
Cups.
booths at NerdBotCon.
Diapers.
And yeah, that's a thing. Like.
Pause. Diapers?
Diapers. You
Damn,
want your baby to be
that's a
legit?
waste of money.
Think about it. What do you mean it's a waste of money?
After they poop in it, you throw it away.
And that's why you buy more. I would probably have my child roll around with a Battlestar Galactica shirt. Or my daughter wear a teabagging shirt. That's right, baby.
Wait, I don't know.
Teabagging.
I don't
I'm
know.
so proud of you.
Hold up. I don't know if that's like an insult to Daniel. If you're like, oh, I'm gonna have your kid pooping it on your shirt.
Here's
on
what I'm
your
thinking.
design.
Here's what I'm thinking. As long as Daniel's like his shirt's being bought or his diapers are being bought, I think he'd be happy about that. You see Huggy's complaining?
Oh,
Not
he's
at
got-
all.
he's got something
Not
on.
at all.
All right, baby. Teabagging. I need that on a shirt.
Oh, yes. So you guys check out the link for our store is in the description. You guys check it out. Well, like I was saying, he saw the Super Mega Force Gokaiger shirt, and he's like, "Oh, do you guys know like Super Sentai?" Like, actually, we have a show on Saturdays called Henshin Hangout where we talk about Super Sentai, we talk about Kamen Rider, and he's like, "Well," he goes, "Do you also cover Ultraman?" And I was saying that is a possibility. I think it's gonna be a little hard.
Yeah.
Like I said, you guys always ask for a retro Henshin show. If we get the views and we get you got a lot of you interested, then maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That would be dope though. Like I'll be down to do a retro Henshin show where we also kind of bring in like Ultraman and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Maybe Godzilla. I mean,
Godzilla, sure.
I don't know. If
Other weirder, obscure Toku heroes that you may
So,
not
like-
have even heard of.
You know what we should do? We should come up with some kind of system or whatever, and maybe we should do like specials. So we can do like a special where we just like cover this one thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we did for Gokaiger.
I would love
we could
to do
like
that.
a very special video where we just talk about like we sit down and watch a series and we just
We'll,
like talk about it.
we'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
Well,
like,
that's
behind the
all. That's
cameras.
making the
Behind
sausage
cameras.
stuff.
But give us suggestions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ways you might want us to watch or ways you would want us to do it.
But you guys-
like through Patreon or like something like that. How would you want us to do it?
Like, share the show out. So,
Yep.
like, the bigger the numbers get, the more we'll know that you guys are interested.
Yeah.
And the easiest way to keep up with us is THS hashtaggers. So you guys, we'll tell you when we're streaming or any specific projects that we're working on, so that you can come and support, because we love that you guys are supporting us, and thank you so much for that. So
and the cool thing about ma'am.
Go for it.
The cool thing about the THS hashtaggers is that when Power Morphicon rolled around, so many of you guys already knew each other. Like, everyone was saying hi to each other. It was a community already.
Yeah.
People around the hashtag show booth. And honestly, didn't feel like a convention. It felt like a family reunion.
Yeah.
It was like talking with old friends, catching up.
We're
and
just
everything
missing
like
that barbecue girl, you know?
Exactly.
That's all you're
He's just
missing.
over there like flipping patties and everything like that. And so it was like the ultimate hashtag
it's
hangout.
it's like a family there. Try to keep everything positive in that group. So be sure to check that out. But you guys, I'm gonna say this right now. This going straight into this stuff. This is probably up there with one of my favorite episodes of. Yeah. Oh, we got Goody. Goody's here. Good striker. And he talks. Yeah, good striker.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that action.
So yeah, this for me, this ranks up pretty high with that scavenger hunt episode. I really enjoyed this episode.
It's a good
one.
ep of the show. Now I know you're excited, Johnny. Why? Why are you so
Why are
happy?
you excited?
Oh my gosh, I was so excited. So first off, again, like when we began this episode,
Goody, shush!
Shush, sorry.
Dang it, Goody.
Dang it, Goody. I don't know how to turn it off. There's no switch.
I think we just gotta sit through the song now.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna put him down.
He's still going.
Okay, go.
Goody.
What are you saying?
Okay,
Right.
so it was so cool because we kind of got like the reason why Noel was on the sidelines was because he was observing things, because there were a lot of things going at play.
Yeah.
I love the mystery guy in this episode when those binoculars came up and Noel got serious. Like, no, we have to run now. And I was like, okay, there's an item like this. All right, okay, this is making things even more interesting for me. I love the challenge of the episode, the fact that you have to crack all 5 safes open, and I love it again. So that means we have to work with the Patrangers, and I love the way they explained it. Was like, wait, I can split into like 3. There could be 6. I was like, no. There's a device in there that magnifies Goody's powers. So this is all well thought out.
and
You know what's really fun about that device? It's the Mobirate that will allow them to do it.
The what?
It's the Mobirate. The Mobirate is the reason they can't do it, and the Mobirate's name, or whatever they call it, the Lupin Collection's name, is Bad Boys. I love that.
Wait, time about Mobirate?
Okay, so the device in the safe is, again, all these are Sentai references.
Yeah.
So inside, it's the morpher from Gokaiger.
Yes,
And they painted
had
it
the 2 swords on there. They painted it like purple.
Yeah. And the name of it is Bad Boys, and I love it.
Dang, see?
What you gonna do?
Easter eggs within the show. I love how all the collections were like phone-based morphers.
Yes.
But my ultimate reason why I love this episode was the duel between Potter Red and between Noel. Because here's the thing, like, as I was watching this, I was like thinking about this week and everything like that, and I was starting to, because as we talk more about like anime and stuff, like comparing it to an anime, I realized why I kind of always have a problem with the Lupinrangers. Because if we were to put this in terms of, for example, Naruto and Sasuke, low key the Lupinrangers are Sasuke. They're motivated by their personal grief and their past, everything that's motivating them. But then you have your Naruto character who also kind of has like some backstories, some issues, but they're motivated by like a bigger goal.
Right.
And so they're motivated by justice and all these different things. And so like as I was watching this battle between Noel and Patranger Red, it was like, okay, like Noel, I totally understand where you're coming from. I understand your character motivations.
Slow, yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand your motivations. However, Patranger Red's making some valid points. He's like, look, do we need the collection pieces? Because if we destroy them, we keep more people safe.
Yeah.
He's fighting for the greater good. And so I just love the way this battle played out. Like, once again, they're going back and forth with each other, and then Noel does that finisher, and then can we say the whole thing?
Yeah.
So then I love it, like how they.
Oh, yeah.
Well, hold it for a little bit on that.
Okay.
But I think
want to talk about it because it's so dope. But
this
you
is
guys, why did you guys like it?
This stuff right here specifically that's on screen, this is one of the things I really enjoy about this ep, is the idea that this time, it's something that we've talked about and we were waiting for, is a real confrontation between Noel and Keiichiro in terms of, hey, what's up? You know?
It's like, where are you?
Where do you stand?
It's like, you're not on our team. You're just here. We don't trust you. And
And I like that Keiichiro brought up the fact, like, if it wasn't for the, in his eyes, the Lupinrangers' obsessive need to get the collection pieces, they wouldn't that would mean like they're allowing Ganglers to go freer more often because they want to get those first before us just simply destroying the Ganglers.
And I agree with that because it's like,
Yes!
as we talked about it, as you start thinking about all the past episodes, the Lupinrangers will be like, all right, this guy's going to get away because they were focused on getting the collection piece. Versus they were focused on destroying them, these things will be wrapped up a lot quicker. And then you think about it, the longer those Ganglers go free, the more people are put in jeopardy. And so it's like, so again, Patranger Red's making a valid point. He's like, no, I'm fighting for the greater good.
Yeah.
I'm a public servant trying to protect the people.
Yeah.
It's
And you are out for yourself.
It's such a good point to make that even Tsukasa's like, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
And even it's hard for us to even kind of hear that to a certain degree as the audience, but like he's right. If they weren't trying so focused to get the piece, if they were just simply destroying the monsters, it's fine, we're done.
Exactly.
But they always have to go, no, don't do it yet. We have to get the thing, and when they don't get it successfully that first time, the monster's out again.
Yeah.
And then that, for me, it kind of brought up, it was the whole point was like, do you need the collection pieces?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you start thinking about it, I was like, well, one, you had the collection pieces, and guess what happened? They all got out and got scattered. So do you actually need these again for them to get scattered again? Wouldn't it be better if, like, you're just trying to round them up and just confirm they're either captured or destroyed?
Yeah.
And so, like, for the butler, I'm like, he wants to get all the collection pieces, but at the same time, I'm like, if they were just not around, you're solving the problem.
Yeah.
So again, for me as an audience member, that started putting that question in my mind where I'm like, this episode, again, is having a lot of great writing going on. We're finally developing this a lot more.
Yeah.
Again, my only critique of it is, though, is like, this is about episode, what, 32, 33?
Yeah.
32.
And I'm just like, I wish this was like episode 22, 23.
Sure.
That's the thing. I just wish this had been like 10 episodes sooner. I'd be more way in love with the series.
Yeah.
But I'm happy it's happening.
Yeah, and I think it's well done in this episode, definitely for sure. I really do like the fact that basically they have to do this. In order for this to work out, in order for this to kind of be something they can pull off. The Lupinrangers have to do something risky too.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. And so the deal, Noelle's like, listen, this is what they need. If, this is what they need. And Keiichi's like, well, I don't know about that. I really don't feel comfortable doing that stuff again with them. He's already like, we already teamed up with them once.
Yeah.
Like, that's already one too many. And so, so the idea that like, and Noelle's even trying to play, see, so what's the harm doing it again? It's like, no, we shouldn't do that again. So I like the fact that, like, okay, how about this? You and me duel. And if I win, you help us out. If you win, you can arrest us.
Yeah. But the thing is, was it his place to do that? Was it his place to make that deal, not going back and talk to the Lupinrangers?
Oh no, they made they made the deal with them.
Remember, they do the flashback.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I agree with you because when it was happening, I was like, should he run this by them first? Because they could have reding on the deal, but then they do the flashback, which kind of clears that up.
And that's the thing. I like the flashback too, where they're kind of like, I'm sorry, what do we gotta do?
Yeah.
And then I love their lines too, though, because the Lapsus and Lupin Blue was like, well, here's the thing: if we don't get those 5 collection pieces, I mean, it's over anyway.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't matter.
I also like that Umika's like, well, why don't we just ask
Kugari.
Why don't we ask? At first, she's like, why don't we ask Kogre? And they're like, he's not gonna do it.
She does it a few times.
He's like, okay, so Kogre, right? No. Okay. Then she's like, okay, how about why don't we ask Tsukasa or Sakuya? Because we're kind of friends with him.
Yeah.
And I like the Kaira's like, nah, it's got to be Keiichiro.
Because he's the. Go ahead.
Why? What would be the difference, though? I mean, like, would they have to reveal themselves to them for them to get them to do it?
I think it's more along the lines of like, they know that Keiichiro, even if it's say Tsukasa and Sakuya agrees to it, Keiichiro will. Let's say it wouldn't be easy. It'd be harder. I think he would find ways to probably blame them more.
Yeah,
he might
yeah.
even arrest his fellow teammates because they're breaking the law.
Exactly. He would hold them accountable.
Yep.
He would try to stop the operation because it's technically illegal.
Yeah.
He would look at them like, you can't do this, and he wouldn't feel guilty about it because at the same time, though, he would be right the whole time.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He is the linchpin of this situation, and you need to convince him. And then again, what I loved about this was the fact is that again he is standing for justice and all this. That's kind of the reason why I've always gravitated towards this character. As I told you guys before, like one of my favorite characters, like Cyclops from the X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like people always love like Wolverine because he's the bad boy and all this, but it's easy to be the bad boy.
Yeah.
But it's harder to be the guy who has to toe the line to make sure, like, again, we're protecting justice. We're doing what's greater for the greater good. We're doing what's good for the team.
With you.
And
Love
so
those
that's
characters.
why
Yeah.
I'm always kind of gravitating to Keiichiro. That's the reason why I always felt bad when they turned him to a joke because like no, this dude needs more respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he gains it a lot in this episode. For
Oh, yeah.
Sure. This
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
This
No.
fight was
Oh
just,
my
man.
gosh.
This is probably one of my favorite fights, like between them, because it's not between them, but within the series. Because this is actually the first time we've seen them go head to head against each other with intent on hurting each other.
Yeah. They literally say, don't hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
hold back.
And can we talk about the end of the fight now?
Yes, you can.
Dude, I love the end of this fight because I love the way they do it too.
Yeah,
though.
they did
It's
they cut away.
They cut away.
first.
So like right when the Ultimate X is like flying towards them, they cut away, and all of a sudden they're on the battlefield and everything like that. And you see Noel run up. It's like, okay, we're teaming up. We're gonna do this. Give K-Tro the safe opener and everything like that. They're like, all right, let's do this. But as I was watching the whole time, I was like, nah, he won.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I was like, my homie won.
Yeah.
Won. Like they're gonna,
Yeah.
yeah. Patranger was like, nah, he didn't take that L. Because you even look how he's acting. He's like, I'm on board with this. I'm not angry. I'm not happy we're doing it, but I won, and I'm doing this for some other reason.
I love that. No, because his gun was right
Oh,
in his
there.
face.
But then,
Oh.
yep, and
Well-
they aimed it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they both made mercy moves in this. He had the gun right in his face, but he aimed it at the chest.
And the key motivation, of course, was hearing Noel go, "We're doing this to save our loved ones."
Yes.
And now Cage is like, "I'm sorry, what?"
Yeah, he was like, wait, we're not trying to save. Like he's thinking, my police team is not trying to save loved ones. So what does this mean? Is that their motivation? Is that so? It's finally bringing it all together, and it's funny. It's funny that the one thing that actually brings these two teams together, or these seven players together, is actually a Gangler.
Yeah.
A gang, like
Yeah.
the whole fact that they need to be together to destroy them. Is that something that the Ganglers are trying to do? Are they trying to like
Bring them together?
Bring them
No.
together to destroy
No.
them?
I don't think about that.
No.
I definitely think it's just kind of a coincidence in that
Yeah.
regard. There is
Yeah.
something kind of
Or like ironic. In a way.
ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ironic in ways like, oh, you guys are doing something, but you're actually digging your grave.
You know what's
Yeah.
ironic to me is also hilariously when they were pointing out we need 5 of us to open the saves. Like I kind of cracked and went, normally any other year that wouldn't be a problem.
Hey, Loki, Q Ranger's like, only 5? We'll take 7 just in case.
Q Ranger gets to the point where they have so many players on the team in one area that they have to do a little raffle.
They have to narrow it to 5.
just to see who can
Go,
go down.
rock, paper, scissors. Yes, with the monster.
So it's oops.
But I agree with you. That was like really dope to see. And then what I also love too was like, again, like I love the fact that it was like, for me, it was also that sense of justice that brought them together. Because when K-Tro hears that thing about his family, the thing that goes is, again, it goes back to him being an officer, want to protect people.
Yeah.
He's like, you're fighting to get your loved ones back. You're fighting for something else. There's some other things going on here. In a way, you need my protection too.
Yeah.
I love
In
that.
a way, I need to serve you and help you.
Yeah.
out.
No, I love that so much. And the idea that, like, again, it's because it's played earlier when Keiichiro heard about that line from Kairi saying that, like, earlier in the show where he's like, we're sort of forced to do this. He's learning the shades of gray.
He's putting everything together.
And that's super cool to me. In the show that's full of brightly colored characters.
Yeah. And that's exactly where we leave him off at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
That they don't, like, the other two don't know how to deal. Like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Like, something's wrong.
And
And
still-
he's not saying anything.
And I still love how they're both still not ready to let that guard down completely. Like Keiichiro's like, I'm doing this just this once.
Yeah.
Then they get the pieces, and then then they're like, all right, so we're gonna take down the monster together. And Kairi's like, yeah, just this once.
Yeah, because he's starting to consider it now. They're starting to come together a little bit more slowly. I love the build-up of this, like how they're coming together.
Yeah.
There's motivation behind it. It's very smartly done. And again, to go back to that fight scene, and the reason why I'm wearing a red today, I was so happy the way it played out. Like, again, like you said, I love the gun in his face.
Yeah.
And he's just like, you know what? I'm going to let you win. But at the same time, boom, I'm going to shoot you
Yeah.
one time in the chest. I'm going to shoot you one time in the chest. That's what playing with us. And then he puts the sword in his face. He's just like, I know, like, when that scene was done, Patranger was like, nah, son. You say what you want to say. Let's go. I'll let you win.
It also gave me a thing I've been wanting to see for a long time. Noel
Yes.
not winning.
Yes. Also a big thing that I love seeing in this episode is that we got a little bit of Noel. Like, it's not his goal. None of these things are technically his goal. We still don't know what his goal is, but
Yeah.
he's taking everybody's like motivations and he's not faltering. He's not letting that stop him from continuing on in his journey.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to say about him. Like, if he is so strong, or like if he's so like adamant about getting these stuff done for other people, what is he trying to get? What is he trying to accomplish for himself?
See, and I agree with you because it was interesting too. Because in this fight, he was saying we're fighting to get our loved ones back. He said where?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, who are you fighting to get back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's his?
Exactly.
And that's
So-
probably the reason why he's
and then-
leaning towards Lupin.
Yeah.
Because he's like them. He's his motivation's their motivation.
Exactly.
Ooh,
But at the same time, though, he's an officer now, so you see he's regaining this respect for Kyrie, where he's like, okay, you're an officer for a reason. I kind of have to respect this.
Yeah.
This is such a good episode. You really just see all the different like the
Dude.
shades of gray for their motivations. Kiichiro, I want to say he flipped a coin, but he's more open to the idea of you know, a bigger world out there than what he sees.
And I really love it when the show does this, you know, like in classic Toku, like, you know, when the hero gets that big hero moment, their theme song plays. So what's cool in Lupin Pat is that they have technically 2 separate theme songs. So when it's the Patrangers heroes doing something cool and heroic, the Patranger separate theme song plays.
Yeah.
When it's Lupin's, separate. When it's something like this, and they're actually working together, then it's the full show's theme song.
Yeah.
And oh man, do I still love that drone camera, whatever it is.
Yes, that was my favorite part because I don't know if they're going like this. I felt like I don't think they were flying. I don't think they were flying.
Yeah.
I don't think they were flying the drone. I think they're going around like someone's running around.
Yeah. It's such a cool shot.
I mean, imagine trying to like navigate through choreography. There's no way. There's no way.
Whatever that camera is, how they can just go that high and be super slick about it. I love it.
That
And
was my favorite part.
I gotta say, for me too, the one thing that I loved a lot was when they destroyed the monster this episode. Not in the suits, but like on the ground. They had those special effects for it and everything like that, where it's going to hit them and like all this like CG comes into play and everything like that.
Yeah.
That was really sick. Like it was one of the few times I also see like a monster get destroyed. Like, oh wow, we're doing something really special for this.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
I was like,
oh,
this is
look
dope.
at that. That looks amazing.
It does.
And then we got the bow back. We got the boomerang back. It looks so amazing. Everything, the whole arsenal just came out, and we're like, all right, we took your collection pieces. Now you're a mess. You're fucked. You're done.
Yeah.
You're dead.
You're messed. You're
He's
messed
like,
up. You're done.
We got everything. He was like, we're tired of you. We're tired of you. We're gonna get rid of you. I thought that was great.
Even the big old stupid giant combined robot got a cool moment in this thing.
Man, I don't like it.
I don't like
the
the
giant robot.
No,
I don't like the
it
design.
looks-
I think it's clunky, but I think this final bit
it's
is
just like-
really
it's just
cool.
like, oh, let's put this here.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
no,
put this
agreed.
here. It doesn't make any sense.
Oh no, I agree.
I agree with you.
I agree.
I would say for me, it was a while back. Like I can't remember what season of Power Rangers it was, but it was like somewhere like after
I think it was
where
Samurai. Samurai had clunky Zords.
Yeah, but it was
Like
actually.
they started putting shit all over the
no,
place.
no, you know what it was for me? It was Wild Force?
Wow, for it.
That was
Wild
Wild
Force.
Force. That's when I stopped caring about Zords because there was just too many of them.
Yeah.
And there's too many combinations where you don't have time to build emotional connection with the Zord.
Yeah.
Gal
So-
Ranger / Wild Force is the first Sentai to have way too many robots.
Yeah.
And way too much CG.
And it was so popular, they just kept doing it.
Oh my god.
And so, no, I agree with you. Like with the Zord, honestly, I didn't care about the Zord. I was focused on what's happening inside the Zord.
I agree.
Like the
Yeah.
fact, because you remember my big complaint like last time this happened was the fact that the 2 Red Rangers weren't there
They
together.
had to switch one out.
Exactly. But this time when they were there together, you see them working synchronicity.
And
I was like,
and they're
it's
in sync,
time.
and they
It's
both,
time.
Yeah.
They're both saying the same exact things, and then he was so happy. Noel was so happy.
I was like, you see that bottom picture in the bottom with Noel
Yeah.
in the middle? I want Noel to almost be like, all right, now kiss.
He was great. I mean, this is. I am hoping the next episode won't just be like, all right, separate teams again.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be for a bit, but I
Yeah.
will say next episode looks fun.
Yeah.
I will say this though, like, so as we
Look how happy Tsukasa is hanging out with
my
Kid
God.
Kyrie.
Oh yes.
He's so quiet. He's adorable.
Oh, and she's excited because there's a possibility that she might get stuffed animals.
Yeah, no, it's like I can buy toys for
And
these
it's
kids.
like, and no one will judge me. Oh, you want a stuffed animal? I've got one too.
Oh, so I bought 3 just in case.
But yeah, this episode was probably like number
up there.
two. Number 2 on my list.
one of my favorites
I
for sure.
still
It's
enjoy
definitely
the
up there.
Umiko Tsukasa episode.
No, just to be fair.
Yes.
Love this episode.
Yeah.
But just gotta talk about some things.
Okay.
Okay, so just like
we're
think
getting
about
quiet.
how
What's
things
going
can start getting better.
Okay.
Okay, one, we gotta start developing the Ganglers more.
Yo,
Yeah,
Like, the
definitely.
Ganglers are seriously just
We
monsters
need
of the
more
week.
Zamigo.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's no plot line that happen with the Ganglers right now. There's no internal conflict happening with them. We don't even know what their grand scheme is. Their grand scheme is still trying to like find somebody who wants to be the leader. So that needs to definitely be developed more.
Yeah.
So that's where they're kind of like. So I think the problem with this show. Not with the show, but I think the problem with the writing is the fact that they have so much stuff to balance because they have to have 2 Patranger, you have to have 2 Ranger teams butt heads but also work together.
Yeah.
But you're dropping the ball and not being able to develop the villains as much.
And I think Sentai's always had that kind of problem. Like even my favorite shows have like some okay villains for the majority of the time. And my favorite shows, the best shows, that have the best villains. Like balance it out well, and they don't have to worry about too many Rangers. And that is something that this show and
Which one would
Ranger.
you say for Super Sentai had the best?
Oh,
The best like villain.
my favorite Sentai villains are, and these are, you guys have not seen this show.
Bosco?
I love Bosco. You know what? You know I love Bosco. I love him.
Sele!
My favorite, and this is old school. I'm going to talk about my favorite villain group are Vyram from Jetman. And I got, there he is, Jetman's right here. Jetman is a group of 4 villains, and they are all a-holes. They hate each other, they bicker like children, but oh man, when they're nasty too. They're some of my favorite Sentai villains of all time.
Nice.
But I do love me some Bosco. I love Juzo from Samurai, who's what's his face in or not Juzo from Shinkenger, but whatever his character name was in Samurai.
Yeah.
I gotta give a shout, if I may. I
Please.
give a shout out to the Machine Empire, because actually within the actual that Mega Force, what was it called in Japan? It was called
Not Mega Ranger. That was
O-Ranger?
O-Ranger.
O-Ranger. Thank you.
Because actually that whole Machine storyline is actually super deep about how the prince is born, then he turns like an adult, and then all this stuff is happening with the Machine Empire and everything like that. That's a bomb A villain.
Yeah. But right now, I actually, as much as I enjoy the show, enjoy the show. I agree. We now have to start beefing up these villains to be a lot more than just showing
Monster
up.
of the Week.
Monster of the Week. And like, shooby dooby doo. Like, there's gotta be more than that.
Yeah.
I would have got a
meddling
with
kids.
you if it was for you meddling Rangers and your goody.
This will be an off-camera conversation, but I want to figure out what Scooby-Doo member of what Scooby-Doo will be which color and what Ranger. I mean, Fred's clearly right.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
moving on.
Moving on.
What
would you
out
give
of 7 Lupat Rangers, what would
Okay.
you guys give this episode?
I'll give this a 6.
Woo-hoo!
I'll give it a 6.
It's good. It's good.
You're okay with that, Goody? Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
What about you, Justin?
I'll give it a 6.
Aw, dang, he won't shut up now. All right, go ahead. A 6?
I give it a 6 as well.
Nice. You?
Oh man.
He's on the fence. He's on the fence.
No, like low key.
I think he's gonna go for a 4 or a 5.
No, low key. Kind of want to give it
What is it?
a 6.5.
Oh! 6.5.
That's 6.
You guys,
That's 6 Lupat Rangers and half a null.
Half a null.
That's like the Lupin X half a null.
It was just on point for me. The way to defeat the monster on the ground, like you guys said, the camera shots, that battle that we had, everything like that, the development of the storyline, the growth of the characters, the fact that we were able to fit in both teams at one time, the fact that everyone kind of felt a little bit, everyone got like their little moment shine here and there, but finally the Patrangers were like really developed and taken seriously. Like again, it hit a lot of things I've been like talking about, and even the villain, like again, seeing those like 5 items being used.
That was a scary villain.
Exactly, and the way you had to crack it open and
Villain.
everything like that. Again, 6.5.
Why don't you read down who?
And then the mystery as well. The 3 mysteries.
Ooh.
Because we got 1, what do those binoculars do?
Yep.
2, Noelle was freaked out by the binoculars. And 3, the butler was freaked out by binoculars.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so
Yep.
I'm just
Yep.
like, okay, so what is happening with these binoculars? So there's so much stuff that's building up right now.
Oh, so they say 4.5 for Alterius. Jay says a 5.
Blackwing gets 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5. Layla's 6.5 out of 7.
Nice.
5 out of 5, which is a 7 out of 7 from Crab Stomp. 6.5 from Kamen Ranger, and Shiro gives it a 5.
You guys seem to like the episode too.
You like the episode.
It was a good week.
So it's time. Okay, it's
All right.
time to move on.
We have to go on to writer time, and I know somebody here is very happy. I can't tell who.
Can we play the theme song? Wait. Can we make our own Henshin Bros music video for the theme song?
We can if
We
you
can't.
want.
Actually, I would be down for that.
I'm so down for that.
I mean, I think it'll make the show better.
Jezzer! Wow! Zi-O is so good!
No, it's
so good!
I gotta disagree with you on this one.
Jezzer!
let's go on. We
right,
have to
so
talk
let's
about
start,
this.
yeah.
This is the 3rd episode of
Third episode.
3. We have so many to go. I'm so excited.
So, I mean, in the beginning of this episode, we kind of established where the other 2 time travelers are going to be. They're going to be going to school with
Sougo.
Sugo. So
more or less.
More or less.
Yeah,
going to school. But they're not even attending classes.
No.
What are they doing?
They're actually there to spy and make sure spy on Sougo.
Okay, I enjoyed that part where they're having a little fun with
funny.
it. They're on
Yeah.
top of the roof eating food. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we see you.
Well, no, I love that when he walked to the bathroom, he was just standing right there.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And he just walks to hold his stomach like,
I actually really do enjoy. Yeah, I do agree with you, Jezzer. Forgot the name of the girl right now, but her kind of just like, hi. Thank you so much, producer.
Who does this?
Oh, it did. Oh my
Tsukuyomi.
God, I was so excited.
Wait, time out. Wait. Time out.
I saw what you did there with Gates.
Why?
Rufy. Oh.
Rufio. Oh.
Actually, thanks for putting this character list up. We are actually introduced to a new character,
Yeah.
a new time jacker.
She's so cool.
I actually,
so cool.
I legitimately do really like Hora.
I do. I like the time jackers.
I like the time jackers.
I like the time jackers.
I have my issues with the show, but I really like the time jackers.
I love it. Everything.
Is that
this
his
is a great
sister?
time for me.
Is that his sister or what is that?
I don't know what their deal is, but you know what? Hora and Wool are really super entertaining.
Yeah.
And one thing I really like about Hora in this bit is she's pointing out something that I thought was a kind of a flaw in the choice of build is of another build is like she literally went, you just picked a random person.
Yeah.
This is why you lost. And so what's cool is that when she decides to pick her chosen another build, I like this a lot actually. She went for obviously a devil deal scenario.
Yes.
Even more so than previously where
and they didn't really expand on it too much. She's like, I got good news and bad news.
But they're going to definitely, it looks like they're holding off for sure till the next
yeah,
step.
definitely.
But I like that she's like, hey, so your son's dying. That's bad. But
Is this
And then
kind
they
of
just
like,
transfer and this just show the change happening, everything like that.
Yeah.
Which I love because, again, like, one, from a writing standpoint, it's like, we don't need to explain that. People kind of pick up on, like, again, like you said, the devil deal that's happening here. Two, I love the stakes of it because that makes that monster so much more motivated because he's fighting for his son now. Go ahead.
well, that was my problem with another build, is that, like, the motivation was kind of loose and not really expanded upon. It's like, okay, he's going to die. All right, that's fair. But I thought they could have expanded more on the idea that he had this thing where that's why he kept attacking other athletes. And I thought that could have been explored a little bit more. But this, though, already, the motivation is pretty clear. And I think this already... What, Goody, what? We're not even talking about your show right now. But I know, right now, I'm excited to find out, because it seems like she's using like someone who has more motivation to do what he's doing, and I'm excited to find out more about that.
And I love her character too. I just love the way she's like her personality. I love the way like she's just like kind of smug about everything like that.
Yeah.
I love the clues that we got because again they're looking for another king. I love the fact that the old king is still alive. The way they refer to him was like he was like Zi-O came, was like that old geezer, and it was like no, the one from this timeline. She's like, oh well, he's not as strong but still a problem. And then that got me excited because like wait, so if old Zi-O's still around, the one who's the emperor, that means he can show up at some point.
Ooh.
So I was again because for me I love time travel, and so I'm just loving all the possibilities. I'm loving like all the little things they're planning here and there, preparing for like more storylines to come later on.
Okay, I'll give the show this. I do like the little monsters that we have each week.
No, the build, the evil
builds,
riders,
yeah,
not my
the
build.
evil-
The evil riders, the
Yeah.
another riders.
Another build. Yeah.
I want to make the joke when Sougo sees another X8. I made like it's another build because
Oh my god.
he doesn't know about X8. So
Low-key, I want to get a DJ Khaled meme where we're going like another one.
another
Yeah,
one.
like especially with this
Another
one, he looked a lot like the Predator monsters, right?
Yeah, he does. Look
Yeah,
like
like
the
with the
Predator.
dread little things.
The designs for the another riders, I will admit, are pretty dope.
Is that what we're gonna call them? What do we want to call them?
They are called another rider.
Another
Yeah,
riders?
Yeah, so another blank rider. So
Okay.
if it's build or X8 or future, like 5s and etc.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I love the way the story was told. Like, again, I love the storytelling here. Because, like, here's the thing. So, remember when he goes in the closet high from the people spying on him?
Yeah.
And then his friends are playing that video game. And then all of a sudden, another XA pops up. And what does he do? He steals his friend's mind or whatever he did to him. And so, at first, I was watching this, like, wait, so seriously? He just showed up to take the guy's friend's mind or whatever? Like, that's kind of random. But then you find out, I was like, oh, that's not actually what happened. He's going after people who, like, try to beat this video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, that's a much smarter way to do it, and get them on board, like, for fighting this villain. Which I also loved as well because that's a smart connection to X8, which had a lot of video game stuff in it.
Oh, yeah.
And which I was like, okay, this is setting things up perfectly. And then to go into it, because you're saying, so part of the reason why I love Gokaiger was an education in like Sentai history.
Right.
So if you watch this, you kind of learn so many things about it.
Yeah.
So as we're watching like this show, I'm learning a lot of things about X8. It's something I've always seen like video clips for and whatnot. I was like, man, I like that rider suit. I like the vibe of this. I haven't got a chance to watch the show yet.
Do you like it, Justin?
I hate X8
Oh yeah, I know
the
you hate
show.
it. You hate it.
Now this is the thing, is that like I'm intrigued because I think at the end of the day both of yours perspectives would probably be better than my cynical jaded one. So and I think a lot of it comes to the fact that like even if I didn't like X8, I watched enough episodes to recognize what is like X8 and which is not. And so
What's the correlation between being a doctor and video games? Though I don't understand. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
I don't understand. I don't like.
Oh, sure.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's the thing. All right. Cool.
I can say, well, part of the reason why I liked it.
Oh,
is
they never explained that very well. He just likes both. So
I kind of felt it was because, like, as I was watching, I was like, oh, because I love the correlation, because I'm guessing, so that guy right there,
That's
he's
the
the writer
second
too,
writer.
right?
Of course.
Okay, so you're saying, so when I saw
Which writer is he?
Kamen Rider Brave.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a dope name.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
why did you not like the series?
Oh, you should try watching 10 in a row and get back to me on
All
that.
right, I'm going to try this for next week.
And
Like,
it's like, if you love it, I'm happy for you.
Uh-huh.
Enjoy.
but I was like, dope, because I was loving Kamen Rider XA, because I was like, oh, he's a pediatrician. He seems like a kid at heart. I love when they show the close-up on his Vans. They're all playful in his tie. I was like, no wonder he's a pediatrician. Then he has a surgeon. And the thing about this, I love that writing for doctors, too, because we know about the medical field.
Yeah.
Surgeons are usually very about their statistics and things like that,
Yeah.
that they don't take risky surgeries, everything like that. Even it will save the person's life, because, again, it could damage their career, their sanity, whatever.
Yeah.
I love the way this dude was walking down the hall. It reminded me totally, like, again, the nurses were fanboying out over him, like, oh, it's him! Oh, my God, he spoke to us! I was like, this is
he's
hilarious.
broody.
Here's the
we
weird-
need to try that when we walk in, like, into a con and see a bunch of girls just like, I got a lab coat on.
I think here's the thing. It's like, it is and it isn't like the show. Because that's the other weird thing that's going on with Joe, is that there are something's off in the timeline. So there's something that's a little bit off even in their characterization.
Oh, is that them?
No.
That's X8.
X8 and the other one is somebody else.
Okay, what does Brave look like, I wonder?
He looks like a knight.
He looks like a
Does
knight.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Looks
cool.
like a knight.
But I like X8, though. X8 looks cool.
Like, yeah,
Really?
like,
He looks like those old Bomberman toys that you put the marble in them.
you know,
remember
that's the
those?
other. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
anyway.
it looks goofy, but I kind of like it. It looks like when he... Go ahead. Go first.
Well, no, I definitely trying to push the plot a little bit further. Right now, they're actually one of the main reasons they're at this hospital is because they're Sougo gets some kind of clues from Waz
Wise.
about basically like, oh, the person you're looking for, the gamer that you're looking for to help you figure out this game thing, he's connected to this hospital, and right now he's kind of hidden. We don't really see his face,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like it's a lot of
You see
implying
flashbacks where he's talking to this guy.
to this guy, yeah.
Right.
And it's kind of funny. I do find it funny that Hiro, that's his name, Hiro, who is Brave, is kind of leaning towards Geiz.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
almost like he instinctively knows, like, I have a feeling you're the secondary right now.
Exactly. Yes. He's like, second to second. He's like, why me? You know why.
Yeah. Oh,
There's Brave.
Oh, dude.
That's a figure art story.
Oh.
You would love, yeah.
Yeah, look, I love that. I love the shoes. The shoes kind of look like sneakers and everything like that, because the boot cut is like so low and everything like that. I like the armor. It looks
straying
fun.
From the bug thing.
It does stray. It does stray.
It does and it doesn't, because if you're super eagle eye and you get a really close up on the eyes, the bug eye thing is
okay.
still in there. It's
Yeah.
just way too subtle. You won't get it in that action figure though. Anyway, so they're basically they go off, and what Hiro gives them is like some sort of weird note that Emu left
In German.
in German. And I do find this very funny. Like, what is it? Why did he write this? And why it's German, as Gates points out, it's like, was it about like kind of German medical
history, because Japan used to use a lot of German medicine and stuff like that.
Exactly. So he translated, and this did make me laugh. It's like up, down, left, right, and I went,
yes.
oh,
That-
okay.
That's like the go-to.
It is.
It is.
What was that for me? I use that on Mortal Kombat, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe-
Dude, I used to use it on Sonic Hedgehog. It was
Yeah.
up, down, left, right, hold A, press start. You go to all the levels. I was like, this is amazing. This is so dope.
So I did crack up about
Yeah.
that.
That was
So,
awesome, yeah.
Yeah. And then they get sucked into the gaming world.
Yeah.
Because that's where X8 exists.
Yeah.
It's a gaming show. I cracked up. There's that cube that's next to them that you saw in the beginning of the fight, and before the show used to be littered with them, and I realized like, so you just found the one. But don't worry, there's plenty of pallets for you to jump on.
Yeah.
So-
I like though that what you call it? He had that little changer where he got to be Kamen Rider
Drive?
Drive. That suit looked cool.
it does, but I have a question about that. Like,
did you get it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Where did he get it?
Like,
Well,
yeah. Go ahead. No.
Well, so given that he's from the future,
Yeah.
we don't know how he got his actual Kamen Rider suit.
Yeah.
So I think that's all things are going to be like revealed later on. He's going to give us explanation about it, which would be kind of cool. So no, I agree with you. Like my question was, how did he get this? But at the same time, it was like we never saw him get a suit.
Yeah.
We still don't know his backstory. Like we get hints and clues to it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I was like, okay, I'm kind of cool with this. I think it's all going to be revealed in time.
Yeah.
I hope
However,
so.
one thing I was critical about for this episode
What?
is that I felt it's too long. So
Really?
as I was watching this, I was like, so this was going to be the trend now. Every Kamen Rider we meet gets 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I was kind of like, as I was watching this, I was like, this could have been wrapped up in one. because you should be a little bit more knowledgeable now. You should have a little bit more experience. You should be like, okay, this is what we need to do. And as soon as you saw another Kamen Rider, say, well, guess what? We got to go talk to the original Kamen Rider. Blah blah blah. We need to work this stuff out. Kind of like how Gokaiger used to do.
Yeah.
So I was like, you guys should be picking this up a little bit more quickly. But again, it's the beginning of the series, and again, with most series, those first like 10 episodes are just working through kinks, figuring everything out.
And I will point out that like for a long time, writer shows were 2-parters. Yeah, from like
two.
Yeah, like definitely when I can remember from Kamen Rider Double up until honestly, I think Drive is when they stopped doing the 2-parters.
Okay.
Because that every and that was how they kind of stretched out the storyline into basically from 48 episodes to 24 stories.
They said here he had the drive watch and he had the ghost one.
Yeah, there's a little fear in the fact that it that if he has those watches now, that we may not get episodes about Ghost and Drive.
Is there a reason by that? Maybe they can't get with the actors.
Well, also those are 2 very unsuccessful writer shows.
Oh, okay.
So that's
this is why we have our residential.
This is a possibility.
That's a possibility. Let's not waste money and time and.
But to keep your hopes alive again, when we get his origin, there might be like a flashback where it's like the older versions of him in the future are giving him like the devices and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility to keep hope alive. But
I definitely, here's my thing, is I know shows like all shows will change and evolve throughout time, and even Gokaiger, as what you and me are big fans of. I do know that Gokaiger wasn't originally intended to have all those really great old school guest stars.
Yeah.
It was was originally supposed to be just the last 5 years of Sentai, with some mild hinting at the rest of the franchise. Until I won't go too much into it, but it's a very interesting story.
Go into it.
All right. Basically, a tragedy happened in Japan, and the actor who played Black Knight Hyuga from Gingaman, aka our Magna Defender, wanted to help out and tell give support to the children of Japan to not be afraid after the tragic. I think it was a hurricane. After the tragedy of that, so he reached out. He told he opened a Twitter account and said, "Hey kids, Hyuga here." Don't be afraid of what's going to happen. The Sentai are here to help you out, and etc. And more Sentai actors kind of got contact with him about that, and eventually they were aware of Gokaiger, and they were like, "Well, here's another way to kind of help out." And so they contacted the producers of Toei, "Hey, I don't know if you guys have plans for us, but we would love to come down and just show up in an episode to help." Maybe if we can boost up the children of the present and the past keep the morale good. That's why Forza is so upbeat too, is that they wanted to keep the morale going. And what would have been we would just talk only about up to Go Under or something like that, eventually led to talking about Live Man and Mega Ranger and etc. Because they all wanted to help.
That's interesting. That's so interesting.
I thought it was beautiful. And so I don't know, obviously I'm not asking for a tragedy to happen in Japan again. I think they have more than enough. But who knows? Maybe with the, I don't know what the direction of the rest of the show is going to be. The show is starting off with this case of we'll have the writer.
We'll go back year by year.
Because we right now we're two storylines in where a writer from the main writer from the original show is coming back. I know for a fact we're not going to get that for every storyline. That's just impossible. Yeah. But I'm curious to see how they're going to try to play it off.
An earthquake.
It was an earthquake. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Layla. Yeah. It was an earthquake.
I will say this too, though. The thing that's super dope about this is I got to give shout out to those Sentai actors.
Oh yeah.
Getting together like that and willing to go back for this and just do it for the good of the children in a way. They are real life heroes.
Absolutely.
That's super dope to go back to want to inspire the country and everything like that. That's the dope thing about Sentai. I love how it brings people together like this, and then people can get involved, help actually change things. That's really dope.
When he was the actor who played Hyuga was at Morphicon this year.
He was?
Really? Yeah, and so I went to his panel and I got my photo with him, as you guys remembered if you saw that episode. But I remember me and my buddy told him, and his translator was able to tell him, hey, we really appreciate what you did.
He was there?
Yeah.
Well, for the Magna Defender role?
Well, he was there because he was also Kakurad.
Oh, okay.
And he also played Black Knight, Hyuga, aka the Magna Defender. So he was there, and we told him, hey, as best as we can translate to him, thank you for what you did and to help support, and made, what you did help make Gokaiger as great as it could be.
Amazing.
And he was like, of course, thank you.
One of the good ways to use Twitter.
Agreed.
One of the good
That's
ways
a good use of Twitter.
Yeah.
It really is.
Now let's go back to this episode of the show, and Amu does show up at the end.
Yeah.
And I like the way he shows up though, because I was a little bit worried that it was gonna be like, again, so like when he shows up, the fact he's like fighting him, he's like there's other things going on, which means they're trying to keep the writing fresh, and so it just won't be the same thing every week. We go and meet this person, they'll just give us the power and we'll move on, which means like, okay, they're gonna have to work through some stuff and everything like that. So it was just kind of dope. And again, so somebody who's never seen that series before, I get to see him like change and see him like go through his things, which was kind of fun. I was like, it seems so cheesy.
He really
Dude, like it reminds me of like old school like Batman, like with Adam West, everything like that. He's like hit, bam, 5 points. I was like, this is dope, super. Like, oh, he's doing a super combo.
You like X8 aesthetically, as far as I can tell. I'm curious if you get around and watch the show, if you like the show.
I'll be honest.
Curious.
I was researching because I'm working on a Sentai comic that I'm like putting out and everything like that. And so while I was
All
doing
of you guys get a Sentai comic?
Well, mine's more kind of Ultraman-y Kamen Rider, and so it's not. We're not running into each other's battlefields.
But when I was doing my research for
hit me up on crossover talks.
Oh, for sure, of course. But I kept running into like clips from X8, and I remember when I first saw it, I was like, this does not look good to me. It looks a little bit cheesy. And then I kept seeing it, and then I saw him like when it was chibi version, like he's all big or whatever. And I was like, this still looks ridiculous. Yeah. And as I kept seeing it more and more, I'm like, damn it, it's starting to grow on me. It's really starting to grow on me. It looks just so ridiculous, but it's like, hey, if you're going to be ridiculous, might as well go all out, and it just looks really fun.
You know what? I'll say this. Like, I am not a big fan of the show, but when I saw the chibi version, my initial reaction is, I'm sorry, what? I will say, because I got up to episode 16 before I decided I think this is not for me. The chibi became my favorite thing about the show because it is ridiculous in a fun way. So I say they're cowards for not doing it in this episode. They went straight to big mode.
I saw that. I was like, why did they go? Because it was 2, and I was like, I know what you did right there.
No,
I know what you skipped. You should have skipped that.
You shouldn't have skipped. That's messed up. That's my favorite thing, and you just took that thing away from me.
It's so ridiculous.
The one thing I liked about X8, you couldn't even do that.
But to keep going to the show, though, I love the after episode for this one too.
Oh yes. 3.5.
It was so dope, yeah. So you have M standing there and everything like that. They're all talking and stuff like that, getting more backstory. But then, boom, our time jacker shows up.
Yeah.
She shows up and freezes time and gives us more background. I was like, guess what's coming, guys? There's going to be a battle between the Kamen Riders to determine our new king. And I was like, what? So we're going to get like a Kamen Rider Legendary War? What?
It is fun too because it's like that also is the reason why I'm glad that 3.5 also was like proof to me that they will explain more about the person she picked because they went to that and she's like, nah, I'm not gonna tell you now.
Oh.
No, I'm not gonna tell you now. In the 3.5.
Do you guys like that they're doing these little mini episodes in between?
They're fun. I think they're a lot of fun. I'm a little conflicted at the same time because I feel like some of the information is like, I mean, you couldn't have found a way to put that in the show.
Yeah, it's like that's what like escapes me. Is like you guys are having like these little 5-minute episodes. Like, why can't just add it to the show?
Yeah.
I mean, is it hard to explain it without like breaking the fourth wall?
Which also is like, well, then that's your fault for making something too complicated.
Yeah, is it hard to explain without it's like, let's. I mean, I understand sometimes with time travel. I would have appreciated it on some episodes of The Flash.
Right.
It's like,
Sure.
Yeah.
Time Remnant. I'm gonna explain Time Remnant to you. It's like that little things like that, but I feel like some of these things are a little redundant and could have been implemented in the show.
I feel the same.
Explained in the show.
But there's some fun to it. I like the performances. I like they all have scripts in front of them. It's a fun little thing.
And we get to see a little bit of each actor and actress.
Yeah. Exactly, which is like you get to know on a personal level. Plus, like Justin, when you explained this to me as we were starting this show, you explained to me how there's a new like production team and all these different things are coming on board. And so when I saw this, I was like, I kind of get why they're doing it because it's like, hey, if we're doing something new, we gotta shake it up and we gotta try some stuff.
Oh yeah.
So while this season, like, I really feel again, because like seasons of like shows when you have a new production team on there are kind of like episodes. Yeah. The first season they do it is going to begin them working through things. By the time they get to season 2 and 3 is when they hit their stride.
Right.
So this season will be like, let's try some new ideas out. But by the time we get to season 3, we may see some things stay around, some things like leave.
Yeah.
But I will say this though, the one reason why I did love it, I love the fourth wall breaking. We'll say, well, we need to stop this from happening. I know, we'll get the writers. No, I know better than that. We'll get the producers. No, we're gonna blow up toys. I was like, wait, what?
Okay, that was pretty great.
Hilarious. This is hilarious.
That would not they would not be able to do that here in America.
No, it's like let's blow up Saban.
We're gonna blow up Disney.
Exactly. All of a sudden, Hamster Bomb comes like, not on my watch. Like, what? You're all going to a peace conference. No.
Oh, he did it.
Oh, the dreaded peace conference threat.
No, say it to a peace conference.
No, not the peace conference. Anything but the peace conference in Switzerland.
I'll tell you right now, if there's ever a point, I don't see it ever happen, if there's ever a point where I have to leave Henshin hangover or whatever, I want you guys to say like,
He went to a peace
Johnny went to a
conference.
peace conference.
Johnny went to a peace conference.
We'll make like a fake little news story. It's like, oh, we have chosen our person for the peace conference. It's Johnny Parker II. And then we gotta run to you in the park. Or we gotta run to a body double. We gotta run to a
Some
body
guy
double.
doing a horrible Johnny impersonation.
Johnny, you just got chosen for the peace conference.
Good shit. Here you go.
That was a whole little, retro thing. If you guys want more of those kind of retro fun things, check out tomorrow with Al and Daniel. They're going to be reviewing some Mighty Morphin Power Ranger episodes. So continue.
Yeah. So again, that's the reason why I love that. Because I'm loving those 0.5s, and I kind of have a feeling as we go on, they're going to get better. Plus, as you were saying, with Flash, with time travel, you got to explain some stuff here and there. So I'm kind of cool with it. Because be honest with you, I kind of figured there's going to be like a war to happen.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about it is it gives me like a little like teaser that makes me want to find out about it more. Yeah. And so it's going to keep me addicted to the show.
Can I say something? I don't think that the what's the main character's name?
Sougo.
I don't think he's the king. I don't think that's him.
Oh yeah, it's totally
Like I don't think it could be somebody. It could easily be somebody else.
Dude, there's like so many dope possibilities. It could be him being mind controlled. It could be him taking over. It could even be like
it could be his uncle who's actually home.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
There's so many dope possibilities, and so that's the reason why I'm so on board for it. And so it just seems so cool because it's just so many different ways we can go. It's kind of like it's a little different than Build. Build kind of left us with like a mystery every episode. It's like this is the mystery we need to solve. But with this one, it's more like we have possibilities.
Yeah.
There's so many possibilities we can go down. So you're going to tune in every week to see which one we choose.
I will say this is like, even though right now I'm not super into the characters of the show, it's just my personal taste on it.
I'm with you.
I will say this one, I was surprised how much I was okay with it in comparison to episodes 1 and 2. And I'm not like watching the episode and then like throwing my TV out the window and getting annoyance. But it's definitely one where I'm kind of like, okay, maybe there's something there, and I think there's elements of Sougo's character in this episode. I'm like, oh, that's kind of not bad.
No.
I still feel like the King stuff is sort of tacked on. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It just seems like an afterthought for the writers.
I feel you. The only reason, again, like I said, the only reason I'm on board for it is I'm used to seeing people say, "I'm going to be Hokage," or people saying, "I'm going to be the Pirate King."
I get that,
so
but Luffy,
so because of that, that's what we got to let aside. But go ahead.
But I get, and I totally get what you're saying. But like, Luffy's such a far more entertaining character to me than Sougo that like. I feel like I wish if he was more Luffy-like, I would be a little more into it. But he's sort of milquetoast for me with a couple of moments of Flash fun. Like, I like the bit where he's just, like, sitting in the stairs, frustrated, and be like, why is this so hard?
I agree with you, but I will be honest, though. The only reason why I'm a little bit patient with it, because I said this, like, when we did the Marvel show.
Yeah.
I give every anime, like, 3 episodes.
Sure.
I gave One Piece 3 episodes, like, 5 different times.
Wow.
And I couldn't get into it. It wasn't until like I had one of my students coming to me and was like, "Parker, this is the greatest thing I've ever read."
He calls you Parker?
Yeah, they call me Parker. It was like
Parker.
It's like Mister. Like, no, don't make me feel old. Just call me Parker. But what was really cool was like, so literally one summer I sat down and I didn't watch the anime. I read the manga, and as I read the manga, I was still finding those struggles. But all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, this is getting good. Oh, this is getting good. Oh, this is how everything happened. Oh my God, Sanji. Oh my God, Brooke. Oh my God. Oh, Nakama."
But
So
do we have to do that with everything? Like, do we have to like just keep grinding? I mean, obviously, I have to keep grinding with this one.
I mean, here's the
sometimes
thing.
you do, sometimes you know, some things hit the ground running, like Bleach, for example, hit the ground running. But the problem with Bleach was it petered out by episode 50, where they kind of ran out of ideas. But sometimes you have that slow start, you kind of build up to it, it can lead to something amazing. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And all I gotta say is, I'm just hoping it will continue to happen right here.
I mean, because this is obviously I'm starting my second Kamen Rider show.
Yes.
The first one, obviously the task of doing the binge and doing the watch was kind of jarring. But then once I started, I immediately fell in love with it.
Yeah.
Immediately, I feel like that goes that's the same way it goes for me when I start a Netflix show. Like, I have a hard time starting it, but once I do, I fall in love with it. With this one, I'm starting it, and it's taking a while.
No, and at the end of the day, I'm with you. It's like, I don't hate this show at all. I want to bring that up again. I am right now at this weird, I'm numb to this show. Yeah. And I'm taking it as is. And I'm waiting to see when it really drops the ball, or if it actually gets to a point when, you know what, I found a way to find it entertaining for me. Okay. And part of my deal right now is like, I'm going to let go the tribute stuff.
Yeah.
Because that was something I was excited for, and as I saw how they did build, and this, I'm like, you're not quite there, and I don't think you're going to get there, so I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, so Johnny, how would you what would you rate this episode?
So
How many watches?
how many
watches out of 5 watches?
5 watches.
5 watches. Okay, I will say this too though. I will say that our main character, I'm waiting for him to get developed more because I
Yeah.
will agree with you. He is just kind of like your standard character, so I'm waiting for him to get a little more development. I'm hoping that's going to come soon.
Yeah.
He is like the weakest part right now because the overall storyline's amazing. But out of 5 watches, give this a 3. I like the elements of it. I love the characters, I love the acting, I love everything they're building to. But again, like I said, this could have been a lot shorter. This probably could have been condensed into an episode, which would have helped things a lot longer, and it would kind of like I think would increase the pacing of it. So right now, I'll probably give it a 3 out of 5.
You know, honestly, because I was shocked how much I actually wasn't that frustrated with it. I will give it a 2.5.
I'll give it a 2.5 too.
All right.
And I'm hopeful. Let's
So am
just
I.
say I'm hopeful.
So am I.
I love that you love it, and it gives me hope to look for the silver lining.
Yeah.
Look for the silver lining.
And what do we got in the
We have
comments?
Blackwing says 3.5 out of 5. I don't even know if I'm saying this. Alterius says 3.5 out of 5. Crabstomp 3.5. Layla 2.5. J-Boss gives it a 3. And Kamen Ranger gives it a 2.99 out of 5. Why do you gotta do that, man? Why'd you do that?
Why would you hold that little one?
What does that point one?
What does that point one do to you? Just give it to them.
I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, it's a rough series starting off with, but again, there's lots of possibilities. Hopefully, it gets better.
The one positive thing that I can pull from this is I'll watch the show so we can talk about it here on Henshin Hangout with you guys.
Exactly, yeah.
With you guys, and you guys, thank you for joining us on our Saturday. Like it really means it means a lot to us that you guys are spending time with us. And like I said before, if you guys have other friends that share the same interests as you, bring them along. Show them channel. Have them join Teachers Hashtag so they can keep up with us. We don't have a lot of toku news on a website, but we do have a lot of news in general on a website. You guys could check that out and share that out. But yeah, thank you guys. Yeah. It really means a lot that you guys want to share this experience with us and joining this new show.
Especially for the love of like Sentai, because the thing about this is that like, and again, as Jezzer saying, please share it, because the thing about this is that when people start to realize, when people get frustrated with Power Rangers, they're looking for somebody else to gravitate towards. And a lot of people don't know about Sentai, they don't know about Kamen Rider shows, they don't know how great these things actually are, and actually doing a lot of things that Power Rangers fans want. So if you can, again, share the show, share the love, put it out there, so that way more people like gravitate towards and discover how great Sentai and Kamen Riders actually are.
Yeah, and again, if you really want that retro Henshin hangout, you have to make sure these numbers are really good so that we can do retro Henshin.
To justify.
To justify, because I would love to talk about other old shows
I would
that
love
they
to
have
learn
not.
history. And Johnny, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at JohnnyP313 on Instagram and Twitter, and at Gumroad. And in about a month, you can find me at...
Yes!
Oh, there's my comic book. There's my book, Broken.
And
if you want to check it out, it's really good. It's on Gumroad really quickly, and it's a really dope series. So get a chance to check it out. Great. Oh, yeah, Jose does an amazing job. And again, in about 4 weeks or so, towards the end of October, you'll find me at LA Comic Con, where I'm actually going to be pitching a couple panels to him. Hopefully get picked up. I'm going to pitch to him a really cool panel that I'm going to ask Justin and Jezzer later on if they'll be on. I want them to go on the panel when they talk about Power Rangers and Sentai influence on modern comics. So hopefully that panel gets picked up.
That for sure.
And my favorite part, Justin, where can we find you?
You guys are really mean. You can find me on Instagram right here, Justin Quiz. Find me on Twitter at Justin Quizon. And yes, I have my monthly podcast, Nothing New, a remake podcast. Our new episode will be out about a week or so. It will be on the film Papillon. I know none of you have heard it. Don't worry about it. If you want to know about it, it stars Steve McQueen. You can learn more about it in our episode. Our last episode of Benview and Spielberg will be out in a couple of days or so. And I have a new podcast about creative writing called Morning Word. And episode 2 should be out sometime near the end of this month. And that one episode specifically is interesting because we talked about author intent.
Ooh.
And how the audience... we discussed how we feel about the audience... once we let a project out, when we let something writing out, how do we feel about an audience interpreting it their way and separating the story we told from how the audience reads it? So, and of course, you can find my very, very, very free webcomic I co-created with Victor Perfecta called Shiny Yusha!
You guys, and you can find me on all social media at Jesus. Thanks again for joining us, and please, if you guys like what you see, just share it out. And if you guys, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up to date with everything trending in geek pop culture. Bye, goodie.
Bye.
Deuces.